for Halloween, and again, hopefully you got out to get some good trick-or-treating done. But for tonight, the last night of October, where has the time gone? Never underestimate Tuesdays or October for how fast they can actually move, and that is pretty much exactly what we've been winding up with here for tonight, as we see again some very nice weather for trick-or-treating, no question about that. But we're going to be seeing some fairly mild weather for the next few days. Little, if anything, is going to be changing anytime soon. So for right now, not really seeing much to give us any hope of any colder weather. That seems to be a couple of weeks away at best. So for right now, that's about as good as it gets. Happy Halloween to everybody who is celebrating. Excuse me 1 second here while I get this taken care of. I knew I forgot something. Over on Twitch, I've got to make certain that the date is correct here, because I don't want people thinking that this is the wrong night that they're watching, but of course this would probably give you some idea as to what's going on there. It is Thursday night, Halloween. It's again very mild out there. Couldn't decide which Doctor Who costume to wear tonight, so brought my mom's scarf. My mom knitted this 25 feet of yarn for me for a costume back in high school, and kept it ever since. This is one monumental knitting effort here, and always nice to bring this out of the closet. During the winter time, this is very warm, so nice to be able to have this around. And of course, you know, fezzes and bow ties are cool, so thank you very much for the gift of the fez there to my family. It's quiet again for tonight, but we may see a rumble of thunder as the storm system passes on through. Allow me to introduce myself for those of you who have never been here before. This is Weather Overtime. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onick with a quick check of what's going on with the forecast for Thursday night. So far looking good for Friday night football, so some very good news on that. Not seeing any major problems again for the next few days. There is going to be the potential of more of this coming up relatively soon. Not a huge amount, but rainfall chances greatest into Friday and possibly again for Election Day next week. We'll talk about that coming up in just a little bit. Want to see more about everything we do here at News 12? Email address aonic@wdef.com, and at the bottom of your screen, wdef.com/weather. Radar, again, west of Chattanooga. This is the News 12 viewing area. Southeast Tennessee, western North Carolina, northwestern Georgia, and northeastern Alabama. That's the area we cover from Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'm speaking to you from the News 12 studios in downtown Chattanooga, keeping you updated with what's going on across the area for this evening. So not really much more than the rain. This will continue to move on through about News 12 at 11. Let's go ahead and start off again with our almanac page. We always try to start off with this because this is one of the more popular segments for, I don't know why, as you can get this information online very easily, but apparently people like having the almanac as part of their daily routine, so more power to you on that. 81 the high, came within 5 degrees of a record high temperature again. Very warm out there. 64 the low, 20 degrees above our normal low temperature. So this gives you an idea as to just how very warm the last day of October has been and how warm it can be at this time of the year. Goose eggs for rainfall for the entire month of October. We have picked up 14 hundredths of an inch. That is a fraction of an inch, barely enough to settle the dust. And for the year, we are behind by 10 inches plus. That gives you an idea as to just how dry it has been. October is typically the driest month in this area of the country around Chattanooga. So if that doesn't give you an idea as to just exactly how dry it has been, well, I don't know what will. We could definitely use some more. Just giving you an idea on this, and I mentioned this last night, there are about, as of right now, 8 weeks left in the year for 2024. We need about roughly 1.25 inches per week through the rest of the year, through December 31st, just to break even. And that's a pretty decent amount of rainfall that we'd be looking at there. Not seeing anything like that happen. So unless we get some pretty good gully washers in here, now in the next couple of months, November is a lot more wet than October, and December is a lot more wetter than November. So we're going upwards on the potential for rainfall. Statistically, almanac speaking wise, but whether or not that's actually going to happen in real life, kind of iffy at this point to see whether or not that goes on, but we'll talk more about what our chances of rainfall are coming up in just a little bit. The aurora, going with our ghost light images for tonight from the Northern Lights in Decatur. Thank you very much, News 12 viewer Linda Parks, for a view of the Northern Lights out there. That's our Langley Roofing weather window picture of the day. And if you've got weather pictures looking through the camera eye, let's see what you've got. Send them in to us. We'd love to see them and show them. Pictures at WDEF.com. If you'd like to see more about who's sending in the information, all you have to do is go to our website, WDEF.com/photos. You can go to our social media pages. We post these pictures to these websites every single day, every single night that we have them, so you can stop by and take a look and see what it is that you would like to see on there. So please give us an idea as to what you've been looking at, and yours could be the next Langley Roofing weather window picture of the day. Every single time I misplace this graphic. Okay, downtown, we're still getting a little bit of breeze. Chattanooga, looking off to the east, I-24 traffic out there, and from downtown over toward around south of the courthouse. A little bit of a breeze out there for this evening. Some of the flags waving in the breeze for tonight. Looking across again to I-24. So far looking decently quiet. Not seeing any rain on the camera lens at this point, so we're just not getting too much in the way of rain yet, at least here. Plainview outdoor advertising camera, very hazy. Lots of wildfire smoke sticking around, and we'll continue to see that again throughout the rest of the evening. Hazy downtown. The winds have calmed down a little bit here. The camera was doing a good job of wibble-wobbling around, and the Patriot Concrete camera, again, showing traffic moving on I-24 for tonight. Not really seeing a major problem with traffic here. No accidents or incidents to report. Heavy traffic 24/75 on the Tomahawk crane and rigging camera just south of the Chattanooga airport. Quiet in downtown and the North Shore from Coolidge Park, the Chattanooga Theater Center, and the footbridge. Still got a lot of people out and about. It is a very mild evening. It's beautiful out there for tonight. And last view from the Chattanooga Zoo, Erlanger Hospital, over on the horizon, and otherwise looking back to the northwest with not much going on tonight. Temperatures back into the mid to lower 70s, and again, that is way above our high temperatures for this time of the year. It'd be nice to get some cooler, more October weather-like in here, but it's been an exceptionally mild month out there. Now, tomorrow morning, I think there's going to be a good chance of showers out and about. Not great chances, but get the rain gear ready to go tonight just in case, because you may need it getting up in the morning. Not seeing that much of the way of cooler temperatures. Cool-ish, but pretty mild overall. Remember, our normal low temperatures are supposed to be in the 40s, and they're not going to be anywhere close to that into the next couple of days. So not seeing anything really chilly. Winds may be occasionally breezy, but not by much. And high temperatures tomorrow, a category above where they should be for this time of the year. Likewise, if you're going to be getting out and walking the pupper in the morning, please make certain you got the rain gear ready for you and or them. Marlo T. Shorkey, weather dog at House Onic, does not appreciate going out in the rain, so may have to be a little insistent about getting her to get her business done out there. Temperatures, again, very mild overnight on the Rough Cuts Dog Grooming of Cleveland dog walking forecast. Thank you very much, Pamela Johnson from Chattanooga of Pupper Dolly, sporting the showgirl costume, ready for Halloween there. Thank you very much for that. Our picture of the day, if you've got pupper pictures to share, WDEF.com/dogwalk for more on that. Temperatures right before, and I mean right before, it's just about 10 o'clock, 50s into western North Carolina around Andrews, 60s and 70s elsewhere, so it's a very mild evening and will continue to be so tonight. We do have that front coming on through. You can just barely see it right through here, with temperatures in the 50s and 60s northwest of that front, high 60s to low 70s along and to the south of that front. There's not a lot of difference here as the front's getting getting weaker and weaker as it gets down to the south. So what front are we talking about? Well, this thing has been rolling our direction for the last several days. There's just really not that much left to it. It's a lot weaker. You can see it turning partially stationary out here as the main energy of the system way up toward Canada and the Great Lakes does a very good job of dragging that part of the front along and away from the area relatively quickly. But what we're also seeing at this time is this front continuing to move its way on through. Note also here that moisture is very limited ahead of this front. We'll be seeing several hours worth of light rainfall as this system makes its way through, but it's bumping up against this big area of high pressure off to the east of us. This is, according to the National Weather Service in Morristown, this was and has been a record high, strong high pressure sitting over the East Coast and the Western Atlantic. It's moving some moisture up and through the Atlantic and back over into portions of the southeastern United States. Now, there is, again, some of that going on, not that much, but we will see an occasional rumble of thunder, and there will be also the potential of more rainfall coming through. Now, behind this front, we have also another couple of systems that will be passing on through, and well beyond that, our next system that will be making its way into the area come Election Day, and that'll be our next best chance of anything involving huge amounts of rainfall. So through tomorrow morning, getting the kids off to the school bus, the front ambling its way through, not racing by any stretch of the imagination. So there will be chances of rain around and about, maybe a rumble of thunder. And then as this system kind of falls apart into the afternoon, it takes the chances of rain pretty much with it. So by dismissal time for the kids and by Friday night football, I really don't see too much of anything sticking around in the way of rain. Saturday morning, we start off with some clouds, the front falling apart to our south and east. Saturday afternoon and Sunday afternoon is going to bounce back on the temperatures. Instead of the low 70s for Friday, we'll see high 70s for much of Sunday, but with the clouds sticking around, that's where we'll see, again, less in the way of cooler weather as the warm air continues in advance of our next system coming in from the west. Now, if high pressure remains in control of the eastern seaboard, which it looks like it's going to in some form or fashion, excuse me, this is where we see the potential of slower amounts of this front making its way through. If this high pressure wasn't here, these systems would be racing through here pretty much one after the other very quickly. That's not happening because high pressure is blocking these things and just not giving them any impetus to move any faster. So we're stuck with that. We're also stuck with the very warm temperatures. According to the Climate Prediction Center, well above normal on temperatures into the first few days of November, so not seeing anything to help out in the way of rain, in the way of very cool temperatures. We are also seeing a little bit more in the way of moisture, mainly confined to the News 12 viewing area and the southeastern United States. So that is where we may see, again, the potential of better chances of rain into the first few days of November. Better on the 7-day forecast. We'll show you that coming up here in just a little bit. 30-day outlook also showing, again, some very well above normal temperatures right through the rest of November. And also seeing, again, not pretty much normal on the way of rainfall according to the Climate Prediction Center's 1-month outlook. Drier on the East Coast, more rain from Chicago to Oklahoma City, and we're just stuck in that middle normal territory where that gray color is located, just no color right on through here. So that is where we see nothing to show in the way of above normal rainfall coming up, and that's about as good as it gets for right now. All right, 7-day forecast, taking a look at Island Cove Marina and Resort, and showing just some cloudy skies out there. No rain hitting the camera lens at this time on Lake Chickamauga. Better chances, of rain for Friday, and that's as cool as it gets until we get into the end of next week. Chances for showers should be limited to morning and into the early afternoon hours on Friday, clearing out again for Friday night football. Mild, very mild for the weekend, partly to mostly cloudy skies. Saturday night into Sunday, I should have changed that over, so let me do that real quick. That is where the time change is supposed to be happening. So if you are going to bed Saturday night, remember this is the weekend of the time change where we fall back 1 hour. Again, why we're doing this, I have no idea, but according to Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, when it comes to losing an hour of sleep, you lost an hour of sleep this weekend because of Kaiser Wilhelm. It's very interesting to take a look at both the history of daylight saving time and the fact that we're still doing it. We don't have to be. There's no reason to do it. It's just we can't get our legislative gears in motion to say, let's just stick with one time and forget it. So why we keep doing this, I have no idea. Human nature is a mystery to me sometimes, all the way on through. Now, the chances of rain come back as we go into Election Day, mainly in the afternoon and evening. It doesn't look like a gully washer, nor are we seeing any signs of severe weather here, so definitely some good news on that. Chances of rain greatest on November the 6th, and then chances of rain dwindle toward next Thursday. So this right here into the area of next week, Tuesday and following, we could get, theoretically, we could get more rain here than we got in the entire month of October. We'll see how much that winds up to be. Right now, I don't see, again, a lot. Less than an inch probably, unless something really changes. It's doubtful that we're going to see anything in the way of big amounts of rain. It is also going to be kind of windy out there as the next system gears up, so expecting some choppy roadways from Sunday through about Tuesday. So again, please keep that in mind if you are going to be traveling out there. So something to consider definitely if you're going to be traveling anytime soon. Hope everybody got through trick-or-treating without anything in the way of huge amounts of rainfall tonight. Tomorrow, I think there might be a shower sticking around for parts of the area, maybe for Friday the 1st. Very comfortable shirt sleeve weather for Friday night football, and then temperatures drop, but not that much. It's going to be shirt sleeve weather all the way on through. You might need a jacket by the time the games finish up, but chances of rain not bad. I think the passing game tomorrow night is not going to have any veering footballs in the air because of the fact that we've got less in the way of breeze. The winds over the last couple of days are going to die down, so it's going to be a lot calmer in between the systems that are going to be moving through. So not too bad on the winds. Decently humid. Temperatures, again, kind of uncomfortably humid toward tomorrow night. And then the chances of rain pretty much gone as of about sunset, what there is going to be left of them, to say the least. That's your Food City Friday Night Football forecast. If you didn't want to trick-or-treat tonight, fair enough. Hopefully you stopped by for the latest Weather 101 weather seminar from the National Weather Service in Nashville on their Weather 101 program. Numerous topics. They just started up in about the last couple of weeks, and tonight's topic was on flooding. The next one will be coming up next week, Monday. It'll be at 10 o'clock in the morning. It'll be on North American monsoons. The North American continent does have a monsoon season, and it can have some very wide-reaching effects. So if you'd like to know more about this and to tune in, these happen, the time frame here is Central Time because National Weather Service Nashville, Middle Tennessee is on Central Time rather than Eastern Time. So if you don't want to miss this, you got to tune in at 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. You go to their website and you can find out more. If you want to watch the webinar, you have to use GoToMeeting. If you want to ask a question, you have to have a microphone with that software able to translate the sound into what you'll hear on there so you can talk to the National Weather Service meteorologists and personnel. Some great opportunities to learn more about weather. This is more about what NOAA does. And because of a certain political project, a lot of people are very hot to trot to get rid of NOAA because they talk too much about climate change. Well, they do more than just talk about climate change, much more. And everybody on this project apparently wants to get rid of NOAA because of that climate change reason. So if we silence NOAA, we shall stop the problem of people talking about climate change. Well, that is not true. It's not going to happen. And it's a very short-sighted, backwards way of thinking. One of the stupidest ideas I've ever heard of. And this is something, again, that we all need to consider at the ballot box because no private weather forecasting agency can do what NOAA does to replace it. None. And if you think there is one, I would love to hear about it, because I don't think that there is one out there that can handle what the National Weather Service does from NOAA. NOAA protects us from the Hurricane Center, the Storm Prediction Center, NOAA Fisheries. They take a look at the ocean. They watch the ice come and go on the poles. They do all sorts of things, and getting rid of it is a very, 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 very bad idea. So when you go to the ballot box next week, think very hard about what a political project would do to NOAA if that political party gains power again. And again, reconsider taking a look at what is going on with this and why it is so important to consider what some parties are promising. Xing out NOAA, not the answer. If you want to know more about climate change and get behind it and learn the science of it, they will help you understand more about that. Climate.gov, great place to go to for more on that. But getting rid of NOAA just because you don't like them talking about climate change, you really need to take a look at both your political motivations and your scientific motivations, and anything in the way of being patriotic as a citizen involves asking questions. Carl Sagan said very, very famously before he passed away several years ago that real patriots ask questions. And asking questions about why we want to get rid of NOAA as part of that political project, that's a very big question that has not been sufficiently answered as to why, and that needs to be considered next Tuesday. So please think about that before anybody decides to start Xing out NOAA or other government agencies just because they can. That is not the type of leadership we need. Thank you very much. All right, taking a look also. This just happened a few hours ago, and I have not had a chance to get an update since I got back from the dinner break, but an X-class flare, that little dot that you see right there, that was the site of an X-class flare. What does that mean? There are certain levels of solar flares, the burst of energy that comes in from off the sun. The first part about it is the energy that goes across the solar system in minutes. It's like sunlight. The energy waves move at the speed of light, so it takes 8 minutes or so to get from the sun to the earth, and that has already hit the Earth's atmosphere, because earlier tonight, thank you very much, Dr. Tamitha Skov, a solar scientist keeping an eye on what goes on the sun's surface. This is a map of the Earth's surface showing where the perturbations, the energy level smacking into the atmosphere is having an effect on radio frequencies way high up around the North Pole, and then across the southeastern Pacific there was a interruption, or at least a degradation of the effects of radio waves because of this flare. Now, that is usually followed, the energy from the sun hitting the Earth's atmosphere within 8 minutes. That's just pure energy. We don't know just yet, but it is possible that over the last couple of X-class flares that we've had, again, the strongest of the strongest energy flares out of the sun, the energy waves hit first, and then following that in about 2, maybe 3 days is the burst of energy called a coronal mass ejection, where billions of tons of ionized, very energetic gas particles launch themselves across the solar system. And if this is directed our way, which again, facing us on this side of the sun, it's possible that we might be looking at another aurora event in the next few days. Now, these things are not that easy to predict. We're not in the era where we can safely predict a lot about where and when auroras will hit. We're still in the infancy of that, maybe a little bit beyond that. But again, this is having an effect on us. Space weather is having an effect on us right now. So this is something that we need to pay attention to, because in the next few days, say through about Saturday, the weekend, we might be looking at another aurora northern lights event. But for right now, as of about 10 o'clock Thursday, difficult to say at this time, but we will be watching this with a lot of interest, so keep it tuned to News 12. One more thing that NOAA does, by the way, and I should mention this, is the Space Weather Prediction Center. It's a real thing, not making it up. It's based in Boulder, Colorado. You can find out more from going to just search SWPC NOAA, or just go to their website, swpcnoaa.noaa.gov, if I'm not mistaken on that. Again, for right now, these are not frequent flares. This flare causing interruptions to radio waves, but the coronal mass ejection could be spreading through the solar system, heading our direction right now. Whether or not it does take place, we'll let you know about that in the next few days, so keep it tuned to News 12 for more on that, and we'll let you know more about what might be heading our direction. Want to let you know more about this. Again, this is coming up this weekend. It had to be rescheduled from last month, September, when Hurricane Helene moved in. This is something that is very important because, again, it's one more reason why you should take a look at what NOAA does before deciding to axe the entire program with your vote. NOAA, the National Weather Service in Morristown, which covers a part of the News 12 viewing area, is going to be holding an open house. Very rare, but it is happening this weekend in Morristown. So if you have the ability to go to this, ask questions, find out more, you can look at the operations area. There'll be games and activities. There'll be informal presentations and demonstrations. You can watch a balloon launch where they send up a radio sonde to keep track of the atmosphere. Happens at a lot of National Weather Service offices. Tour the office, including the operations floor. Meet the meteorologist. Ask questions of the people who work for NOAA directly about what they do and why NOAA is so important. You might learn a thing or two on here, and you might learn why axing NOAA is a very bad idea. You can also speak with the local agencies and core partners of the National Weather Service, law enforcement, emergency managers, city planners. A lot of people depend on the National Weather Service, and getting rid of the National Weather Service would do a very big disservice to me at making certain I can get weather information out to the public and to you as a citizen. Once again, I implore you, before you go in that ballot box, look at that political project and ask yourself if it's worth it to can part of this government agency just because it inconveniently talks too much, supposedly, about climate change. Just one more thing that can be done. Also, and again, we are now in severe weather season number 2 for this area of the country. So right now, when nothing is going on, that is the best time to learn about severe weather. And the online Skywarn training from the National Weather Service, again in Morristown. Thank you guys and gals in Morristown for doing an absolutely great job of putting up programs like this. Public safety is a lot about what NOAA is all about. I don't know any other private forecasting firm to replace NOAA that does anything like this, nor could be able to organize something like this. So something to think about out there. Weather.gov/MRX, that's the 3-letter code for the National Weather Service Morristown. Sign up. Take the exam, take the entire course, take and pass the exam, and then register with your National Weather Service office to tell them that you are a storm spotter. The more storm spotters we have, the better off we all are, because more people who can watch what goes on in and around when it comes to severe weather and are in the path of or behind these systems that move through, your information will be able to let the National Weather Service Operations Center of wherever you happen to be better prepared and more informed when it comes to what is heading your direction. So again, please consider becoming a Skywarn spotter. It's one of the best things that you can possibly do out there. All right, let's see here. Today's weather poll question, sponsored by friendinroofing.com, popping over the pond to the United Kingdom. The Royal Meteorological Society had its origins way back when, but when exactly was way back when? 1777, 1850, 1900, or post-World War II in 1945. Over half of you got the correct answer. The Royal Meteorological Society started in the year 1850. Congratulations for those of you who got it right. New weather poll goes up at midnight. You can use the QR code on your screen to get there, or just go to wdef.com/vote now for more on the weather poll today. And again, thank you very much, Friend in Roofing, for being a sponsor there. Let me get one more thing going on here because I didn't have time to get it done earlier on, but this is very important. From the National Hurricane Center, yesterday this map was blank. Today we have 3 systems to talk about. We have a storm force non-tropical low pressure area way up around the northern Atlantic. This one looks like it could develop more in the next couple of days, but only a 20% chance of that developing here. We have another system in the northeastern Caribbean, which again could develop into something, but this one also only developing about a 10% chance of anything developing here. Now, wait, whoops, that's not right. That's the Pacific. Okay, right back out here, we have a new system. You have Panama, Central America, South America, the Gulf of Mexico, and the southwestern Caribbean here. We have a new system here, and now the National Hurricane Center has bumped this up to 60% chance of development in the next week. Again, this one could be a tropical depression over the weekend or early next week until it drifts north or northwestward over the western Caribbean. Whether or not that takes it into the area of the Gulf and a threat to the United States, a little bit too early for that, but 3 of these systems now in play. This is granted, there's not a huge chance of anything happening out of 2 out of 3, but now is the time to make certain that we pay attention to what's going on. We now have a month left, a month, an hour, and 43 minutes, give or take, until the end of hurricane season for the year. So we'll see what is going on there, keeping our eyes on that. So keep it tuned to News 12. All those websites that are screaming about Category 6 hurricanes, that's clickbait, eyeball yanking material, and you want to try to avoid those if at all possible. Be careful where you get your weather information from, because that's like the old yellow journalism headlines from the turn of the last century when you had 72-point typeface in the newspapers talking about thousands dead, cities destroyed, and then when it didn't happen, they would print a teeny tiny little retraction in near the want ad section way back, buried in the newspaper someplace, that said, oops, it didn't happen. So that is something to really consider when you get your weather information out there. So please be cautious of where you get that out around, and keep it tuned to News 12 for more. All right, I think that should do it. We've been on for just about a half an hour, a little bit over that tonight, so a lot to talk about there. Going to head home in just a little bit and see how the Halloween candy is holding out. Thanks to everybody for tuning in for tonight. If you have any questions, concerns, again, email down at the lower right-hand corner of the screen, aonic@wdef.com. Hopefully no rumbles of thunder tonight, but there might be a few of them out there. We'll keep our eyes on that. Chip Chapman will have your forecast for the first day of November coming up Friday morning, so stay tuned for more on that. And, of course, we'll have more at our website, bottom of the screen, and you can always head there for more information, wdef.com/weather. Hope you had a happy Halloween. Keep it tuned to News 12 for more on air and online, and we'll keep you informed, and I'll see you back here again Friday night to take a look into the first weekend of November. Thanks for joining us. Stay safe, and we'll see you again in about 24 hours.